crimes have they committed?
Trump?
Yeah, the ones in the Oval Office. What crimes have those people committed?
You want to look it up on Wikipedia? There's like a list.
Well, you made the sign, so I'm asking you.
It's true. I'm at a protest, though.
Yeah.
I don't need to know anything. I'm here for my community.
Okay, so you make a sign about people being criminals, but you don't know what you made it for?
All right, so
I make a sign supporting my community and the people in it.
Yeah.
And I'm not ashamed.
I know. You shouldn't be ashamed of your sign. I'm just asking what crimes they have committed.
I don't have to list them to you.
Might I?
You can simply look it up.
Have you done research?
It's all over the media.
Yeah, so I was just asking him, he's holding the sign, if he could just tell me what crimes people in the Oval Office have committed. You're holding it, so I thought maybe you could give it to me quickly.
I'm good.
What do you make of the fact that he was democratically elected, even won the popular vote? How does that make him a king?
It doesn't make him a king. It makes him a president, not a king.
Well, this is called No Kings. So what does that mean to you?
It means we got to get rid of him. He's not a king. It's a democratic process, and we've gone that route with him. Now he's acted like a king.
Can you give me a specific example?
Specific example? Well, there's a million of them all put together. There's no one example. It's
Just one or two?
There's more than one or two.
No, can you give me one or two examples?
Not off the top of my head. I mean, I can, I guess. I'm just at a loss of thought here on. There's a lot of things.
Okay.
I can't really.
Okay, well, thank you.
so what brings you out today?
No King's Day.
And why specifically are you out supporting No King's Day?
I think protest is important.
Why are you protesting?
How much time do you have?
A couple minutes. And what's the main reason you're out here protesting President Trump?
I don't agree with a lot of the decisions that are being made.
Is there any decision in particular you disagree with?
Okay, so I would start with, well, I don't even think it's appropriate for me to have this interview.
Okay. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Settle down. Okay, so today we're going to be diving into a couple of stories that are developing. Last night, we looked at the Iran conflict, and we're going to be getting an update. President Trump is on his way to essentially receiving the bodies of the service members killed, and I think a handover to the parents. It's crazy. And then we're going to be covering the situation in New Jersey. The governor of New Jersey tried to throw the vendor who's handling the voter registration data under the bus, and they clapped back saying, no, this is not on us. This error came from you. If you are following the story, over 6,000 foreign voters were registered to vote in New Jersey. The governor is trying to deflect and pass on the blame to the vendor. The vendor is saying, no, it's your people that created this mess. And there's something that I found while digging into the new vendor, because the governor says that the state is in the process of moving on to another vendor. So I got curious and I did a search on who the new vendor is and who the current vendor is. Look, guys, what I found is concerning. It should concern you if you're American, because I found something that is brewing under the covers that I don't think anyone is talking about. I haven't seen anything in my research that shows that anyone is flagging this. So stay tuned, and then we're going to be maybe discussing, if we get to it, we're going to discuss the whole Graham Plattner thing because, again, as Democrats always do, they look for who to blame. And already they are talking about failures in vetting and so on. So just stay tuned. Now, if you're watching and you want to be part of the show, the call-in link has been made available already. And as always, send your comments in the chat. Right. Now, let's dive into the very first video that we're going to be covering. President Trump is on his way to Dover Air Force Base. And here's what he had to say on his way to Air Force One. He was talking to the press.
We love you. We love your child. And that's what they are to them. They're their children. There's no games, no nothing. That's their child. And all you can do is throw out your heart. Thank you. Thank you.
So that's his response to the press. And this is him, of course, stepping up, heading over to handle that responsibility. All right. Now, according to the Post, it says President Trump has just boarded Air Force One, headed to Dover Air Force Base for the dignified transfer of 4 U.S. service members killed in the Iran conflict. You can tell that 47 is very sad about their loss. He's moving to make sure Iran pays for it. So, President Trump over the years has been very vocal about his support for the armed forces and his respect for service members. Of course, you and I were sold a bill of goods when we were told that President Trump called veterans and fallen soldiers suckers and losers. That was a hoax that was being pandered by the left and the left-wing media. But nothing could be further from the truth from everything we've seen from him so far. Every opportunity he gets, he shows respect to the troops. He shows respect to his pilots. He shows respect to his personal, let's call them his personal guards, for a lack of a better word. So this is a sad day. We'll post updates if he arrives while we're streaming. And we'll talk about it. Hello, Intergalactic Wrangler. Thanks for jumping into the chat. All right, so without further ado, let's get our hands dirty. Okay. So the first story that I want to cover is the massive betrayal that we're seeing in the GOP. Senator Lisa Murkowski, the senator from Alaska, is single-handedly blocking the Save America Act. She calls basic election integrity too draconian for remote Alaska voters, despite supporting voter ID in principle. While 90% of Republicans and 75% of Democrats want secure elections, Murkowski puts logistics excuses and federal overreach fears first. This isn't overreach, it's protecting future elections. California and others prove why we need it. Alaska deserves better. America demands secure elections. Now, if we have time, there's an article that Hickox sent over to me last night, and it was just mind-boggling how these politicians engage in word salad excuses for why they won't support common sense legislation. So here's Lisa Murkowski walking away from the press. I wouldn't call this responding to the press. Okay, Gardening and Tony in the chat. You guys, thanks for joining the live stream. So here's
where do you stand on the Save America Act? Do you, support getting this legislation passed to protect elections?
Not as it is drafted, no.
Why not?
The implementation in a rural state like Alaska is going to disenfranchise an extraordinary majority. And while I support citizenship voting and voting ID. I want to make sure that it's implementable.
Where do you stand on the Save America Act?
So she is voting against the Save America Act. And ladies and gentlemen, she is Republican. The Republican senator from Alaska is blocking the passing of the Save America Act. Now, there's a response here coming from others in the GOP. President Trump dropped a truth nuke from Senator Mike Lee. Rhinos like Lisa Murkowski should listen. All right. And here's what was said here. President Trump reposted Mike Lee's truth post. There is no legitimate argument against the Save America Act, not even one. Let's have a listen to this.
Of having free and fair elections, and it makes them impossible. So, look, I think that there's only one legitimate reason to oppose this. I have yet to hear a legitimate argument against the bill, which begs the question, do they really just want to make it easy to vote so badly that they're willing or even enthusiastic to just make it easier to cheat? So far, the congressional Democrats have, by and large, focused on arguments that are a combination of being ill-founded, relying on blatant mischaracterizations of the statutory text itself, including and especially the text beginning on page 12, line 22, and following on to the following page, easing the documentary requirements for proof of citizenship, making it so easy. It's much easier than filling out your I-9 form when you start a new job with a new employer, where you're required to prove your citizenship if, in fact, you're an American. If you're not an American citizen, you're going to have to produce a visa showing that you are eligible to work. But we make it easier than that. We make it so easy, in fact, that even if all of your citizenship documentation papers have disappeared because your house burned down, your dog ate them, your crazy Aunt Madge came and stole them and took them to the dump for some inexplicable reason, or maybe you never had them, you can still go to a state election official.
So all of the things that Lisa Murkowski is claiming are roadblocks to her agreeing with passing the Save America Act have already been addressed in the bill. In the video we just watched, she walks away saying she can't vote for it as it stands. And she doesn't give enough time for the reporter to ask her what exactly is the problem with the wording that you don't agree with. Now, there's an article now. I'm thinking that maybe we might have to read through this article because she essentially puts down into words the reason why she can't, in all good conscience, back the Save America Act. Like President Trump says, reposting Mike Lee's post, there is no logical reason why the Save America Act should not be passed. We have over 10 million illegal aliens in the country, most of whom will vote Democrat simply because the Democrats have expressed a desire to help them fast track a path to citizenship, even though they broke into the country illegally. What happens to all of the ones who came in legally? Now, I could go down a rabbit hole about why the Democrats don't really care about the legal immigrants. I could go down a rabbit hole. Maybe, if we have a panel, we can discuss, my theory on that. But why is it that the Democrats are so hell-bent on pandering to these people? Because they represent a new voting class in the United States. These are people who, if the Democrats do what they're promising, they will forever be beholden to Democrats. It's almost like what was rumored to have been said by Lyndon B. Johnson, that he would get the Negroes to vote Democrat, for generations to come. And essentially, it seems like they succeeded at doing that. Now, Lisa Murkowski on why I support voter ID but oppose the Save America Act. Now, guys, let's go through this carefully, and we're going to read through it, and then we're going to try and figure out why she opposes the way she opposes passing the Save America Act as it stands. Is she going to tell us exactly what it is about the wording of the act right now as it stands that's keeping her from voting on it? Let's see. In an opinion piece published in Anchorage Daily News today, U.S. Senator Lisa Murkowski expressed her support for voter ID, but explained why she will not support the Save America Act. Senator Murkowski outlined why the bill would be difficult to implement in states like Alaska, especially in time for elections this year. The full piece can be reviewed here at the Anchorage blah. Election integrity matters, and the right to vote must be preserved for U.S. citizens. So why do I oppose the Save America Act, which attempts to federalize voting requirements? The answer is twofold. The Constitution largely leaves it to the states to determine election requirements, and the bill as written would disenfranchise many Alaskans. Now, this is a question that she would need to answer. How do you intend to deal with states like California that have their own election requirements, which essentially allows for such porous vetting of voters that they don't even require ID to show up to vote? And these are the same people who are going to show up to vote during presidential elections. That is the question she isn't answering. She's talking about the Constitution. Fine, the Constitution is an amazing document. There are states that have actively decided to circumvent the Constitution because, look, guys, let me remind you, the Founding Fathers wrote the Constitution for a moral and godly people. When you put the constitutions in the hands of people who are immoral and ungodly, like we see in states like California, the Constitution doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's very difficult for me to say it, and maybe I don't even have the right to say it. But if I'm going to interpret what the intent on paper that the Founding Fathers had, I can say clearly that it doesn't work when you put the U.S. Constitution in a country like Iran. It doesn't work in a country like Nigeria. It doesn't work in a country that isn't a moral, Christian, and godly country. You can't transplant the U.S. Constitution into just any country. And guys, that's why the attempts of the United States to transplant democracy across the world hasn't gone quite as well as it's been sold to the American people. Okay, if anyone is going to be honest. So let's keep going. In its present form, the Save America Act would prescribe the documentation that must be presented to register to vote, and then require specific photo identification to be presented when voting. It would also require states to submit their voter rolls to a database maintained by the Federal Department of Homeland Security, which would in turn tell the states whom to remove. The problems that will result are both fundamental and practical. For starters, the Constitution largely entrusts states with the administration and oversight of elections, providing authority to hold them at the times, places, and manner of their choosing. This was deliberate because states are best positioned to understand local conditions ranging from geographic constraints to technological infrastructure. Restricting states' ability to tailor their election systems to realities on the ground is a recipe for trouble. One size fits all rarely fits Alaska, and it will not in this instance either. When it comes to elections, what is best for an urban state like Florida may not work in a highly rural state like ours. Take the bill's identification requirements. Okay, she hasn't yet answered one of the questions she raised way up at the very top. Now, she mentioned that The Save America Act would prescribe documentation that must be presented to register to vote, and then require specific voter identification to be presented while voting. It would require states to submit their voter rolls to a database maintained by the Federal Department of Homeland Security, which would in turn tell states whom to remove. She stated this without addressing the reason why this is important. You have over 10 million illegal immigrants who are currently spread across the country, most of whom have rallied to blue cities and states. And those blue cities and states are more than willing, to empower these illegal aliens to vote in federal elections and in state elections. She is, yes. Now, I don't want to be too hard and uncharitable to her. Tony says, "Stupid white liberal woman. They've ruined everything." Yes, but she's a Republican, and people are calling her a rhino. And to me, she looks like a rhino because she is using these arguments to defend her position. She hasn't addressed the problems. She's talking about the wording of the document of the Save America Act as it relates to Alaska and the rest of the country be damned. No immigrant is running to Alaska. No immigrant is moving to Alaska. They can figure it out with the federal government and say, okay, how about, can we do this or the other? I was talking with Hickox last night, and I asked about the use of the post office. And of course, he informed me that the post office is a federal installation, and the states are meant to handle these things. And I'm like, okay, now I understand. But there has to be a way around this. There has to be a way around this. If you have a Republican who is essentially shooting down a vital document, a vital act that is meant to protect American elections, and she is essentially making excuses about her own state, forgetting that if the blue states get their way, because here's the thing, you have 10 million people who enter the country illegally. They get the right to vote. They vote in enough members of the House and Senate. All right. Then the next census comes around. They get counted in as parts of those communities. Therefore, electoral seats have to be increased. Therefore, some of these, the electoral votes of these blue cities jumps due to these electoral seats increasing. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Guys, I'm not American, but I'm telling you what I understand. And I'm trying to project what I understand and the impact of this decision. So while she's busy trying to hedge Alaska, and she's claiming to protect votes in her state, she's letting the rest of the country burn where these illegal immigrants are currently living. I hope that by the time we get to the end of this article, and we're going to try and power through this, that she will give us a solution, because she's telling us why she's opposing it. She hasn't given us a solution. No solution. Just, I don't like it, so there. Why won't you just offer a solution, at least for states like yours? Well, let's see if she does. Let's see. Let's take the bill's identification requirements to register. Individuals would need to specified proof of U.S. citizenship. Tens of thousands of Alaskans lacked a real ID last year when statistics were last reported. But even Now, this is a problem you guys should have solved a long time ago, but you chose not to. So you can't put it on the federal government. You guys didn't do this. It was a problem. You guys knew it was a problem and you refused to solve it. When statistics were last reported, but even that is not enough under the current bill, which required a real ID clearly indicating the applicant is a citizen of the United States. Alaska's real IDs do not, so you would need to present a passport, certified birth certificate, or another valid document that does. So are you telling us now that Alaskans don't have birth certificates? Are you telling us they don't? Or they don't have driver's licenses? Because I think most DMVs would ask you if you want to register to vote while you're getting your driver's license processed. Like, these are very simple fixes, but she's essentially repeating the talking points of the left. Further, the bill requires individuals to show this proof in person. Now, please, guys, stick around. Remember, we're going to be covering the absolute scandal that is the New Jersey voter registration, where foreign-born illegal aliens were registered to vote in their elections. Over 6,000. We're going to cover that story, and I'm going to be telling you a few things that I discovered. Don't forget to post your comments in the chat, and the call-in link is available if you want to call in and join this conversation personally. Let's see. Further, the bill requires individuals to show this proof in person, which can be daunting in Alaska. 80% of our communities and 20% of our population are not on the road system. Under this bill, registering to vote could mean purchasing plane tickets and securing lodging and transportation at a personal cost of hundreds to thousands of dollars to travel to one of 6 regional elections offices just to be eligible to vote. It's a clear problem, but every problem has a solution. Why can't she? I'm still waiting for her to propose a solution. Let's keep going. Even for a community as connected as Ketchikan, Alaskans would have to either fly or take the ferry all the way to Juneau just to ensure they can participate in an election. But they've been doing that. Okay, let's keep going. Registering by mail would likely go away unless and until states can find ways to comply with these new federal requirements. The Save America Act would also make it more difficult to vote by mail, something more than 40,000 Alaskans did in the last presidential election. Now, how did Alaskans vote before the blanket policy of mail-in ballots that happened during COVID? How did they vote? I'm curious. If you know, please post in the chat. I agree that voters should verify who they are and strongly support voter ID, but you just said that most Alaskans lack valid IDs like birth certificates and passports. So, she's going round and round, and she hasn't essentially made a point that is believable right now. She's mentioned the fact that the state is quite rural. It's hard to get around. Granted, she's yet to give me a solution to the problem. How have they been voting until now? And if you have an existential crisis, like your entire country being overrun by 10 million new voters, wouldn't your people want to make the sacrifice to ensure that their elections are secure? This is a problem I have with politicians when they coddle us like we have the emotional range of a teaspoon. They think that we can't take the pressure of making these difficult decisions. I agree that voters should verify who they are and strongly support voter ID, as we already require in Alaska, but states are best positioned to know how their residents can do that. So how have your residents been voting all this while? She said that they already require ID. she hasn't helped her case in my eyes, because she first of all started arguing that, oh, most of our people don't have can't go to verify their IDs. Oh, but whenever we vote, we have a requirement for voter ID. But I don't support the Save America Act because it's going to be impossible for the people to show up and verify that they can vote. How did the people get their voter ID in the first place? How did they do all of that in the first place to qualify to vote in your elections in Alaska? I'm trying to understand. Okay, I might be ignorant. I might not know what I'm talking about. Help me understand. She's saying we already require ID. The ID that we require already exists in the hands of most Alaskans, like birth certificates and so on. You and I know that anyone who wants to drive needs to go to the DMV. And most DMVs ask you if you want to register to vote. How have they been running that in Alaska? These are the same talking points that all the talking heads on the left have been making. She's simply parroting these same talking points. And yet she turns around and says, we already require voter ID in Alaska. What is she talking about? But states are best positioned to know how their residents can do that. So you already do that in Alaska, and yet you're opposing it by claiming that you can't do it in Alaska. Is this roundabout logic that makes no sense? Right now, Alaska law does not strictly require photo ID. What the hell? Can I ask you a question? In the last 20 years, is there any form of identification that does not involve a photograph, a photo of the person being identified? Driver's licenses do. Passports do. Even company IDs do. I'm trying to understand what she's talking about. She is not making any sense. For example, hunting and fishing licenses are also acceptable. Now, let me ask the question. To get a hunting license, before you're allowed to hunt, is there a form of identification? Is there a registration process that requires another form of identification to essentially tell the person who is registering you who you are? For example, a driver's license. I don't know if I'm talking to it's early morning in some places, and so some of you are sitting having your coffee and listening. I'm genuinely trying to understand. Okay? Let me play, the ignorant immigrant who just wants to understand what's going on. So guys, show me the ropes. She says hunting and fishing licenses are already accepted. However, how is it that you got the hunting license without a form of identification? Okay, so Intergalactic Wrangler says Hunter Trapper Safety Course certificate and an ID. Now, whenever you get these licenses, or whenever you're registering for these courses, do you require an ID in order for them to, let's say you passed the course and they're about to issue you the license, do you require a photo ID like a driver's license? Like, it's a question. So, Intergalactic Wrangler, just let me know, because I know that that you're into all of this. You should be able to, like, this is my assumption. Okay, I like pretend I'm an ignorant African who doesn't know what he's saying. Okay, don't you require a photo ID of sorts, like a driver's license, in order to qualify to get the hunting license or fishing license? Now, I'll keep reading while I wait for Intergalactic Wrangler to. Yes, you need ID. These people think we're stupid. It's things like this that get me so upset. I get so upset reading stuff like this, because this woman really believes that we're stupid. Okay, let's keep reading, because now I'm getting really upset. Okay, she opened up with very, very nicely worded arguments, and then she begins to descend into insanity. All right, let's keep going. Under the Save America Act, individuals who have changed their last names from what appears on their birth certificates are Alaska natives relying on tribal IDs, and those whose documents do not include a photo, a stated place of birth for an expiration date, would all need additional documentation to vote. These requirements would burden voters who may not have their other forms of identification, and strain election offices that may lack the resources to implement them, especially with this year's elections fast approaching. So, Alaska already requires ID. Check. We already accept fishing licenses and hunting licenses. Double check. Hunting licenses and fishing licenses already require a photo ID to get one. Check. So when you're showing up to vote and you need to confirm that you are an American citizen, you show up with the photo ID you already have. You show up with the birth certificate that shows you're a citizen, which you should already have. If you don't have that, begin now to process your request for your birth certificate. She's not selling me on. I'm trying to see the situation in Alaska. She's not selling me on any of it. She's pretending that we are morons, and that we're just going to believe what she's saying because it's been said in a very nicely worded article. Federal DHS database would help determine voter eligibility. The federal DHS database that would help determine voter eligibility is likewise challenged. According to a recent story from ProPublica, yeah, you're reading from a media outlet or a blog when you're a U.S. senator and can request these reports from the DHS. The system is making persistent mistakes, particularly in assessing citizenship for people born outside the U.S. Legitimate voters. Now. I thought your concern was Alaska. The system is making persistent mistakes. Are they catastrophic mistakes? No, they're not. And then she says particularly, which means these mistakes are particular to people who are born outside of the U.S. Anyway, I'm going to calm down. It's too early to get my blood pumping. I'm not interested in raising my blood pressure this morning when people who just don't care about the United States are saying stupid stuff like this. Particularly in assessing citizenship for people born outside the U.S. So clearly, this doesn't apply to Alaska. Legitimate voters have been flagged, forcing DHS to correct information provided to at least 5 states. Is Alaska one of them? If she said Alaska is one of these 5 states, then she has an argument. It is not. If it were, she would be stating it in this article. Let's keep going because we need to wrap this up and move on to the next story. In the meantime, federal law already prohibits non-citizens from voting in federal elections. Yes. Is it being enforced? We just had, like, she's saying this, and I'm glad that we have this story from New Jersey where 6,600 plus foreign illegal immigrants were registered to vote in New Jersey. Saying that federal law already prohibits non-citizens from voting doesn't mean that they will not vote. It's almost like saying that a criminal has been barred from owning firearms because of their criminal lifestyle. That doesn't mean that they're not going to find a way to get firearms. This is the kind of stupid, vapid stuff that I keep hearing from politicians, not just in the United States, all over the world. And it's just very clear. It's like these guys have a meeting. Like there's a global conspiracy where they all get together at the G8, G12, the UN, all of these crazy organizations, and they sit and they stand around drinking and sipping their tea, laughing at us and calling us idiots. Like, that's the way this makes me feel, because they're all the same. They're all the same. All of them. Africans, Europeans, they're all the same. I'm upset because it's buffoons like that that got me to leave my own country. Well, I'm just so upset. Like I'm reading this and I'm literally just, it's almost like I'm reading the kind of stuff that an African politician would write and just put out there and just believe that these idiots know no better, and even if they did, who's going to listen to them? Gardening says these people need to get their forms since it is needed in life. Get your birth certificate, etc. It isn't like you would need to get forms every single time. It is basically a one-time thing. Everyone knows this, Gardening, but she's trying to leverage she's trying to leverage that to claim that that is why she doesn't want to vote for the Save America Act. I'm just so upset, man. I'm trying to calm down. In the meantime, she says, federal law already prohibits non-citizens from voting in federal elections. We should always protect against that, but we do not need to overstate how often it occurs. When you have 6,000 illegal immigrants who vote Democrat, that is enough to swing an election. And that happened in New Jersey, tiny New Jersey. Most states have found new instances, and that appears to be the case in Alaska as well. Last year, the Alaska Beacon reported that a document submitted by the Alaska Division of Elections to the U.S. Department of Justice in response to a nationwide data request named 70 possible non-citizens who voted or attempted to vote in state or local Alaska elections since 2015. Let's go. Alaska's twin. I thought she was going to say that was debunked. I thought she was about to say it was debunked. That's why I said, let's go. Okay, so let's see if you're going to make sense. She's changed topic. Is it just me? Did I miss something? Or have I gotten so emotional that I missed something? I'm going to read this again. Most states have found new instances of what? Of errors, I assume, of errors that in the DHS database. I assume that's what she's talking about, okay? I'm going to pretend I'm slow. And that appears to be the case in Alaska as well. Last year, the Alaska Beacon reported that a document submitted by the Alaska Division of Elections to the U.S. Department of Justice in response to a nationwide data request named 70 possible non-citizens who voted or attempted to vote in state or local Alaska elections since 2015. Next paragraph. Alaska's 20-year struggle to implement real ID demonstrates just how incredibly difficult the enforcement of federal mandates can be and how unlikely it is that the Save America Act could be effectively implemented on an expedited basis. So it's hard to do our job. So let's not do our job. Jeez. Okay, let's keep going. I'm trying to calm down, guys. So her argument is it's hard to implement real ID. It's hard for us to do our job. So let's not do our job. Okay. I'm trying to calm down. In 2019, some 14 years after enactment, the state was soliciting donations to help the DMV reach rural communities to bring residents into compliance. Even when mobile DMVs reached rural communities, many residents still could not complete the process. Why? Why should the whole country be held hostage by people who just, I don't want to call them names. She's holding us all hostage because of fringe incidents. These are fringe cases. A few people didn't know how to spell their names, so the whole country should be subject to voter fraud. Let's keep going. Some homes lacked street numbers. Whose fault? People who didn't do their jobs. People employed by the state who didn't do their jobs. Some names did not match across documents. In parts of the state, delayed or incomplete record keeping has left some native elders without. Look, if people don't know how to write their names, they shouldn't vote. Yeah. I'm not American. I can say this. If you're too stupid or ignorant to write your name, you shouldn't be deciding who runs the country or who runs the state. Let's move on. Let's move on. All right. In parts of the state, delayed or incomplete record keeping has left some native elders without the documentation required to meet the requirements of the Real ID Act and what could soon be the Save America Act. Free and fair elections are the cornerstone of our democracy. Stop trying to shame us into saying, okay, well, yeah, we want free and fair elections. Therefore, we want people who don't know how to write their names or who don't know their street numbers or people who get paid to do a job and don't do it and should be fired. Okay, like all of these people should force us all to adopt insane policies and allow illegal aliens to vote in American elections. As doubt is cast on their legitimacy and public trust erodes, because of you guys, we would do well to avoid partisan reforms. What? What did she just say? 75%, I think, of Democrats support voter ID. And the Save America Act is going to secure that decision of the voters. So how is she calling it a partisan reform? We will do well to avoid partisan reforms that sound good on paper but may work very differently in the real world because you guys are lazy and evil people, especially if the results would be a system that works for many but not all Alaskans. No, the fringe Alaskans should decide to get off their butts and go and get documentation. You can't have 3 people in a community of 100 and those 3 hold the rest of the community hostage. That's what she's done. I have read the whole article. I have given Senator Lisa Murkowski a fair shake, and she has fallen flat on her face. She should be primaried. Moving on. Now, do you think I gave her a fair shake? I usually don't read long articles. I usually don't. But I think I owe it to you guys who watch the show. You know, usually I like to do videos and run commentary on videos, but clips are very deceptive. Clips are very deceptive. They're like, you know, you catch someone who says something genius. For example, this live stream has been going on for 50 minutes at this point. And in 15 minutes, there are points of this live stream where my delivery may not have been fantastic. Maybe I stumbled. Maybe I said something the wrong way. So that is the whole live stream. But if I decided to clip my greatest hits during the live stream, that's all you get to see. You don't get to see the entire thing, the entire idea. And that's what I want to start avoiding. I want to avoid the clips, and I want to just go for, okay, here's the meat and potatoes of this whole thing. Are we correct in assuming that this person is on the right side of the issue based on the detailed arguments they've provided? Or are they on the wrong side of the issue? Someday, I might subject you to a painful experience of reading through a lengthy article by Hakeem Jeffries on something. And I guarantee you that it could be 1,000-word article and it will still be as stupid as the clips. because clip after clip after clip, dozens of clips that we've covered, he hasn't changed. The same insane policy positions continue to ring through all of his clips. So I guess that is the meat and potatoes of Hakeem Jeffries. All right, guys. Let's skip over to the next story. Now, this is the story. This is the story that I want us to kind of land on. We've seen the GOP essentially. We have people in there sabotaging the GOP from within. And they might be kindly unassuming grandmas like her, you know, can be kindly looking unassuming grandmas like her that are like, oh no, I care for the that person, that imaginary person in the woods, in the backwater of Alaska, who doesn't know how to spell their name. That's why I'm not voting to pass the SAVE Act. She looks like that, but her article essentially is retarded. But this is where the insidious nature of things, for me,
a serious software error.
For me, this is where the insidious story comes in, because I'm going to tell you what I found, and I want you guys to tell me what you think, whether I'm putting on a tinfoil hat. I'm going to tell you about IDEMIA, and then I'm going to tell you about the replacement company that is supposed to replace IDEMIA. I'm gonna try and pull it up on my phone. And I'm going to read some things that I found. And you guys will tell me if I was smoking something before I came live, and I'm just trying to spew some conspiracy theories, because what I found is concerning, in my opinion. I don't know about you, but in my opinion. So let's listen to her, because this is the governor of New Jersey. Let's go.
A serious software error in New Jersey's motor vehicle system led to the improper voter registration of what we believe to be roughly 6,600 people in our state. When New Jerseyans applied for a driver's license or identification at the MVC, they were asked if they wanted to register to vote. In the case of this error, some individuals indicated that they weren't citizens and weren't eligible to vote, but the software registered them anyway. The error in the software was corrected a year later in June of 2024. That is more than 2 years ago. I learned of this last Wednesday, and I immediately ordered my chief counsel to launch a comprehensive investigation. Currently, the Division of Elections is working to ensure anyone who is illegally registered is removed from the voter rolls. Initial analysis shows that fewer than 400 newly registered individuals voted in an election due to this software error.
All right, so her announcement claims that 6,600 immigrants, illegal aliens, voted. IDEMIA is the company that works with the New Jersey DMV. But let's read this post, okay? Because this is what got me started. The identity services provider New Jersey uses at the DMV is firing back at Governor Sherrill, saying the New Jersey Division of Elections were the ones who registered 6,600 foreign voters. The governor is blaming the software. The software did it. The cat ate my homework. So the software is the problem. And in an attempt to throw the software provider under the bus, the government or the New Jersey leadership has decided to cancel their contract with IDEMIA. Now, that sounds like, okay, they found a fall guy. They're blaming the fall guy and they're getting rid of the fall guy. It goes deeper than that. Because there's something very dark happening with even the replacement company that is connected, that New Jersey is about to move on to, and I'll talk to you about that in a bit. So you have IDEMIA firing back and saying, no, this happened within, it was state officials who actively registered 6,600 foreign voters. It wasn't our software. IDEMIA pushed back. Now, Hickox is in the chat. All right. Again, the call-in link is active in the chat because this here is going to make the hair on your neck stand up. Now, so New Jersey is throwing IDEMIA under the bus, claiming that their software automatically registered 6,600 foreign nationals to vote in New Jersey's election. Now, here is IDEMIA's statement. IDEMIA's role is to transmit information through the motor vehicle system. The voter registration information is transmitted to the New Jersey Department of State, Divisions of Elections, which is ultimately responsible for verifying eligibility to vote. Information submitted by IDEMIA must still be validated and adjudicated by the Division of Elections. So, the Division of Elections manually approved over 6,600 foreigners to vote. They were not automatically registered by the software provider as the governor claimed. Now, who is IDEMIA? IDEMIA works with the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission and has for more than 40 years to support the process through which eligible individuals may indicate their interest in registering to vote when applying for or renewing a driver's license or state-issued identification card. IDEMIA's role is to transmit information through the motor vehicle system. The voter registration information is transmitted to the New Jersey Department of State. Divisions of Elections, is transmitted to the New Jersey Department of State, Division of Elections, which is ultimately responsible for verifying eligibility to vote. Information submitted by IDEMIA must still, I'm sorry, I just repeated this. It's just the same thing I read earlier. I just duplicated that. I'm sorry. Now, who is IDEMIA? IDEMIA is essentially an ID verification company, has been working with New Jersey for over 40 years. And their job, of course, from what we've just read, is to present submissions made from the DMV over to state officials who have to manually verify and approve the individuals who requested permission to vote in the state. So state officials manually approved 6,600 foreign nationals to vote in New Jersey's election over a few years. Now, the state of New Jersey have informed it's publicly available knowledge, because I was researching this morning, and let's see. I'm going to read this out to you from my phone, and you guys tell me what you think. Just give me a second. So while I was doing the research, I said to myself, okay, I need to know who IDEMIA is. And while I was doing that research, I discovered that New Jersey was about to transfer to another company called Thales, Thales, Thales. They were canceling their contract with IDEMIA, and they were moving over to another data identification verification company called Thales. And I'm like, I just felt prompted, like, this smells fishy. I better trust my nose. So I hope you're sitting down. All right? I hope you're sitting down. All right. So what's IDEMIA's profile? Okay. It's a long profile, but IDEMIA has state contracts with the following states. And as I call these states, I want you to type red or blue. If it's a red state, type a red state. If it's a blue state, type a blue state. Or just say red, blue, red, blue. And then we'll count to see how many of these are blue states, how many of these are red states being managed by IDEMIA. Let's see. State or government contracts being handled by IDEMIA. California. They handled 12 years, they've handled physical driver's licenses, digital DMV contract, which was signed in 2022. IDEMIA recently became the sole driver's license and ID issuer for California as of October of 2025, after over 64 years as a California vendor. 2, New Jersey, the vendor at issue in this story. 3, New York, over $1.7 million of mobile driver's license contract. 4, West Virginia. 5, Iowa. 6, Arizona. 7, Oklahoma. 8, Mississippi. 9, Missouri. 10, Delaware. Mobile driver's license programs in all these other states. Illinois and North Carolina contracts reportedly lapsed and ended in 2024. Okay, so I called a bunch of. I'm waiting for you guys to confirm which side they fall on. Okay, so you guys, I don't see anything being written, so I'm sorry for asking you to do the job of a research team because I have none. Now, IDEMIA is handling election verification or ID verification for all of these states. Okay. So Hickox is typing. So we're going to do a tally of all of these states. I didn't have time to do my tally. I'm sorry. So I'm going to just depend on you guys to just do the work for me. Now, while you're doing that for IDEMIA, so IDEMIA has been handling this for all of these states, has been in business for over 64 years, has done business with New Jersey for over 40 years. Fantastic. Thales, on the other hand, which is the new company that New Jersey is moving over to, is a French multinational company and is one of the world's largest defense or aerospace or digital security conglomerates. New Jersey is about to hand over American voter information to a company that is foreign owned and is a foreign essentially is a foreign company. I'm going to scroll down. Now, Thales itself also has some government contracts. It has produced 100 million plus physical driver's licenses, ID cards for 17 US states and Canadian provinces since 2007, and currently supplies laser engraved polycarbonate ID cards to roughly 12 North American jurisdictions, including Alaska, which has a 10-year renewal contract, Colorado, Georgia, Maryland, Texas, Wyoming, and the District of Columbia. All have 7-year contracts signed in 2022. No U.S. state elections administration so far, as opposed to ID card. Contract turned up in search results of my research. Now, its voter registration or biometric elections work appears to be primarily international. So this is going to be the first time they're going to be connecting to U.S. elections and voter ID verification. Now, let's keep going. Now, while I said to myself, why is New Jersey handing over this responsibility to a foreign company? So I asked the question about the ownership of both IDEMIA and Thales. IDEMIA is a privately owned company based in the United States. It has some investment in some other companies have invested in it, but it's not owned by them. And it happens that the Thales group, which owns the Thales software, has a small investment in IDEMIA. So are you following this now? Tinfoil hat. Okay, so you guys can tell me if I'm hallucinating. After scrolling down, I went to Thales. The actual top shareholders in Thales include the French state. France owns a large controlling share in Thales. You're handing over your election data to France, essentially. Dassault Aviation. Then, international and public investors, which include Amundi, BlackRock, Vanguard. Norges Bank Investment Management, which is Norway's sovereign wealth fund, and employee shareholding plans. BlackRock, Vanguard. So you have the French government, BlackRock, Vanguard, being involved in this company. And then Thales, according to this research that I did this morning very quickly, is expanding into Nebraska, Oklahoma, Arizona, Hawaii, New York, and Alaska. Alaska. We just talked about Alaska. So let me just pull my head out of wherever I just stuck my head. And I'm thinking to myself, New Jersey just had a catastrophic exposure just after President Trump revealed there was massive election integrity issues just last week. The rats and the roaches are scurrying. New Jersey jumps out in front of the camera to say, well, we found out that over 6,000 foreign nationals were registered to vote in our state and is the fault of IDEMIA. Oh, and by the way, we're throwing them under the bus and we're canceling our contract with them, and we're running into the loving arms of Thales, which is largely owned by the French government, BlackRock, and Vanguard. Can someone tell me if I'm just seeing things? Already, there's a controversy. It's almost like this was engineered to destroy the integrity of IDEMIA. IDEMIA still has active contracts with all these other states that I called. Now, what I want you guys to do is keep IDEMIA and Thales in your radar. Keep watching them. And keep checking to see if states begin to move over from IDEMIA to Thales. While we're all busy crying and screaming about the SAVE Act, the people who register the actual voters aren't even Americans. Conspiracy Joe, I get it. I can't unsee this. I'm going to share the call-in link one more time in case any of you wants to join. I saw this and I'm saying to myself, the rest of us are chasing our tails and sniffing our own farts, while these guys are sipping coffee and selling our countries out from under us. So Thales is essentially taking over from IDEMIA. IDEMIA has blown the whistle to say, no, we didn't register 6,600 foreign nationals to vote in your elections. You guys did. Meanwhile, while all that smoke is happening, New Jersey is quietly moving your voter information over to Thales. And Thales is controlled by by BlackRock, Vanguard, and the French government. Oh, crossroads. That's not the way the world, things work in business. I was born at night, not last night. All right, Hickox is joining. So, welcome, Hickox.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, we went through the story you sent me yesterday on the situation with Alaska, and I literally read the entire article during the live stream. This morning, while I was prepping, and I was saying to myself, what should I, because I saw this story on New Jersey first, and I said to myself, what's going on? And by the time I went down the rabbit hole, I could see a connection between this story in New Jersey and what's going on in Alaska. And I'm saying to myself, it's too stupid to be true. It's too stupid to be true. I don't want to believe it. And I kept digging down the rabbit hole and I kept seeing stuff. I have pages of of research on my phone, but I just read the highlights. So, what do you think of what I just read to you guys? And for me, I'm just a guy who just came in here, and I'm like, okay, here's the way I understand your elections work, and here's what's been going on, and we're having a controversy with a data verification provider who has been doing business with you guys for over 40 years. You throw them under the bus, accusing them of registering foreign nationals to vote in your elections, while at the same time pivoting over to a foreign-owned company to begin to handle election data, essentially. What do you think of that picture? Am I seeing things?
No, and I just woke up, so I mean, I could see clear straight through the fog. It's the exact same thing whenever Trump came out and was releasing the files about illegals being registered in the United States. They signed a contract with this company, being that it is a foreign company. They were then handing over. It wasn't that our system was hacked from New Jersey. They handed over our voter data to a foreign country. So it's it's common sense that hey, your choice, your decision is the reason why this has happened. Uh, it goes all around. I mean, you was talking about California. I think you said Arizona at one point, and well, New Jersey, of course. If you look at each one of these places, I mean, even here in the state of Georgia, we have issues with Fulton County, and that's Atlanta. And I can tell you right now, as a Georgian resident, we don't even consider Atlanta a part of Georgia. That's its own little thing up there. And it's because it is so far left field that it's basically we treat it as that one little brother that's got some issues. We just allow them to play in the corner by themselves. But yeah, if you look all around, it's the exact same thing. Yeah. It's just funny enough that she actually came out and tried to play the blame game. Yeah, all right. So if she didn't sign the contract, it's still her party that did it.
Yep. And well, what was I about to say? So what I found out years ago was that even in red states, the largest cities in red states tend to be liberal or progressive, okay, or Democrat. What is it about cities that attracts that kind of sentiment? Is it the fact that cities have a lot of provisions that kind of make it easier for lazy people to move there and think that the world owes them something? Because people who vote blue tend to feel that way. They tend to feel like, for example, you live in the rural areas, you grab your rifle, go out and hunt, you know where food comes from. But
and I was actually about to say something like that. Whenever you look at a liberal town, people nowadays, they think that if you've got a college degree, that actually means something. That's just a piece of paper. No, a lot of these places, just the IQ for most of the people in these areas, it is just so low. And I like to use the example where there was literally a liberal woman that was raging against farmers, talking about why are they tearing up the ground to make food? Why not just go to the store? And I'm like, where do you think that it comes from? Oh my God. Like, wow, really? Come on. It doesn't make sense. And I live around farmers. I kid you not. I've actually got crops growing right outside of my window right here. It's And that's another thing too, is if you actually look at any of these blue areas, right? They're talking about if there is a food shortage, the stores just leave. Guess what? None
Yes.
of these people know how to grow food.
Yeah. Yeah. It's frustrating to have conversations with them because, to be honest, it's almost like you're talking to a brick wall.
Yes.
Because you're trying to explain things to them, and no matter how many facts you stack on top of the other, they just continue down the same path, claiming that you're the ignorant one. So you have this going on in New Jersey. I feel like I can guarantee you guys that the same thing is happening in every other blue city and state, and that's why they've been fighting the Trump administration about releasing the voter rolls. They've been hiding it. They've been suing to not have to release it to the DOJ, because I believe that once those voter rolls are examined, all hell is going to break loose.
Yeah. Let's see. Intergalactic in Georgia, I lived where they called the bottom. Now I'm back in Pennsylvania. I've honestly, I don't know if I actually traveled through Pennsylvania. I did a cross country trip going to Colorado, and honestly, I had nearly wrecked first time I ever saw a mountain. Because down here in South Georgia, we don't have mountains. I mean, we've got hills, but we don't have mountains. So being able to see that now, again, with my travels going across the country, I definitely saw a change of pace. I actually have a little story. Whenever I was in Colorado, I was up there doing road work, and before I went, the owner of the company asked me if I actually had a firearm that I carried, right? A sidearm.
Yeah.
And I said no at the time. I'm a usual rifle guy. And he says, get one. And I said, well, what's the reason? And even my father-in-law, he told me to get one because they've lived up there, they worked up there, and they said big cats.
Wow.
So yeah, I went and got me a firearm and went up there, and I kid you not, I felt safer being out in the middle of nowhere than I did anywhere up there in town. I kid you not. I mean, again, I live in a rural town. Whenever I went up there, it was in Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
I saw my first tent city. I saw the fentanyl lean,
Yeah.
Why are you allowing your cities to go to trash? Like, I understand that we are separated by parties, but shouldn't you want your city to thrive?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me. That's why I can't understand. Honestly, even with it being in the state of Georgia, if I have to go north, I go around Atlanta. If it takes me 100 miles to go around it, I'm going to go around it. I don't want anything to do with it. Anything that has to be Democratic or liberal in this country, I tend to avoid it because that's where 90% of our crime is.
Yeah.
I mean, quite a few years ago, I took a trip to Alabama. I was going with a guy that was like a brother to me, and we was going to go pick up a woman who is now his wife. And I kid you not, we stopped at a McDonald's, right? Tell me why it had wrought iron bars over the delivery window. Like, you've got a serious issue.
We are here to share information I learned of a few days ago. In June of 2023, nearly 3 years before I became governor, a serious
I'm just
software
scrolling
error
down. I'm
in New
trying to see
Jersey's
if there's
motor
anything
vehicle
else
system were
that's
asked if they
connected
wanted
to this
to
story
register to
that
vote.
I haven't talked
In the
about.
case of this error, some individuals indicated
Yeah, I was
that they
actually wanting to
weren't
look that up, but yeah,
citizens and weren't eligible
it's
to
sad
vote,
that every single
but
one
the
of these
software
Democrat
registered
areas,
them anyway.
I
The error
it's
in the software was corrected a
it's
year later in
unsafe.
June of 2023.
Now, again, being in
That is more
Georgia,
than
right?
2
And
years
I
ago.
mean, you was having to talk
I
about
learned
that.
of this last Wednesday, and I
People
immediately
consider
ordered
us
my
the
chief
racist
counsel to
South,
launch a
right?
comprehensive.
I remember whenever I was in town, I was at work, and I stopped at a little place that we like to call Highway 55. Of course, that company is shut down now, but it was great. Oh, I love their moose sandwiches. Uh, but I stopped in, sat down, was about to have my order, and this lady, she asked me, she said, "Young man, can I ask you a question?" I said, "Yes, ma'am. How can I help you?" She's like, "I'm from Atlanta," and I said, "Bless your heart." And if anybody knows, that means wow. All right. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say the actual word, but yeah. Uh, she says, "Son, I've always been told that coming down to these small towns, I'm gonna be confronted with nothing but racism." I
Yeah.
said, "What have you found?" And she says, "I haven't seen none of it."
Yeah.
And she's like, "I've seen more racism in Atlanta than I have been down here. I have met nothing but nice people down here." I said, "That's all you're going to meet. We may have one
Yeah.
or two bad apples, but the majority of us, we look after one another."
Yeah.
It's only in Democrat areas. Yeah,
Yeah.
again, yeah, we have one or two bad apples. But you go to a Democrat area, it's like everybody's got a chip on their shoulder. They want to just, yeah, all right.
It's all propaganda. It's all propaganda. You have since the 50s and 60s, the Democrats have learned how to sell whatever idea they want to sell. So they want everyone to believe that everyone who's from the South is racist. Okay, so they try to make that the idea, the prevailing idea. But they're the ones who are the racist ones. They're the ones who are racist. The person who talks about race all the time is it a far-flung idea that they are the racist ones?
Say it one more time.
Oh, sorry. I said the person who talks about race all the time, aren't they the racist ones?
Oh, absolutely. Al Sharpton up there in he's racist as all get up. Anybody that calls out color is racist.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I mean, with that whole case with the young man that drowned off of the island,
Mississippi,
right?
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh well, he was with white people." What's wrong with going around being with white people? I kid you not. If that's the case, that I would fall in that same category. Again, I'm an ex-corrections officer. One of my buddies, he's black. He was an ex-corrections officer. I took him. He loved to go freshwater fishing around here. He'd hit the small streams. He'd hit the ponds, the lakes, the river. And then I was like, "Hey, have you ever went saltwater fishing?" He says, "Man, I've never been to the beach." I said, "Well, you want to go with me?" I said, "Yeah." So we packed up one day. I took him up there, and although this is mine. I told him while we were driving, he said, "Yeah, we're gonna have a fun day. We had some drinks and everything." He said the one thing that you're never supposed to say going out to the beach. "I want to catch a shark." I kid you not, all day that's all we caught was shark pups. And it just so happened that it coincided with the breeding season, because down here we have one of the largest breeding grounds for black tips,
Wow.
bonnet heads, hammerheads, stuff like that. So yeah, literally all day we went fishing with sharks.
Wow.
So yeah, it's this whole and the people that in the South, right? It's not
Yeah.
that we're racist. We just have standards. We have
Yeah.
standards of living.
Yeah.
Whereas everybody else, oh my God, you got to be racist because you're white. I mean, again, 32-year-old white male, right? If I put that
Yeah.
into the internet, that automatic racist. Like, how is that even logical?
Yeah.
I can't stand people that's like that. No, I judge people by the character that they present. Yeah, if I can see, hey, this guy's a gangbanger or whatnot, but he's having trouble with his car, he needs help carrying something, or like the story I told you where there was a few of them that was looking at fishing supplies. I
Yeah.
wasn't ignoring them because of how they looked or the fact that they had Mary Jane coming off of their body.
Mm.
But I was like, hey, you want some opinions on good fishing line or lures or whatnot? They're
Yeah.
like, heck yeah. Everything else gets thrown out the window. Right now
Yeah.
it's fishing.
Yeah. Can we look at this claim here that's on the screen? President Trump.
Hold on. Intergalactic is a good timing on the fishing. No, it wasn't. Bad timing.
Yeah, and he also said that the South is much friendlier than the North, verbally and also hospitality.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're the type of people down here that and I'll give you another example, and I kid you not, this is how this goes, right? There was a young man standing outside of our Walmart with a sign saying needing food, right? He had his dog with him. It turned out that he was dishonorably discharged from our military. His family disowned him, so he is now on the streets, right?
Yeah.
Well, we really don't care about your past. If you're hungry, we're gonna feed you. So at the time, I was a teenager, right? My mom literally stopped, went to the store, got him some food, got him some clothes, got him his dog some food, brought it to him, right?
Yeah.
Well, later on, I went and borrowed my cousin's bicycle to go and put out at job applications. We're a small town. I've ran around this town. I've done 14 miles around this town. All right.
Yeah.
And I borrowed my cousin's bike to go and put a job application. I kid you not, I was at Domino's putting in a job application. Somebody walked up and stole my cousin's bike. I had the chain wrapped around the wheel. They literally picked up the bike and walked off with it. So I'm running around. The Domino's lady, she was like, I didn't see anything. This kid walks up. He says, hey, what's the matter? I said, somebody just stole my bike. And he walked around and tried to help me. I didn't know who this kid was. He didn't know me, but he was willing to help me.
Yeah.
Did you not? Later on, I gave up. I had to go and call my cousin and tell him, hey, somebody literally stole your bike. And the Domino's employee wouldn't help me. About that same evening, I kid you not, my uncle and my aunt live next door to us. They pull up. Guess who gets out of the car? It's the same kid that helped that my mom helped, who then helped me, that then my aunt and uncle helped. They gave him a tent. They gave him a fishing pole. They gave him stuff to actually be able to travel with because he said that he was on his way. We're in a small town. We're not leaving. But it was the fact that, hey, good karma came back for this kid over and over. Rapid succession.
Yeah.
It's the fact that we take care of one another. If I'm riding down the road, unless I've got to be somewhere in quick, fast, and in a hurry, if I see people on the side of the road, I'm going to pull over. If I bypass them going 60, I'm going to hit a U-turn, come back and make sure they're all right.
Yeah.
We look out for one another to make sure that everybody stays safe. I don't see that in the city.
No. people just mind their business. It's a very unfriendly environment. Very unfriendly.
Yeah,
All right, so
it definitely is.
all right, so let's just take a look at this, okay? Donald Trump just revealed that the actual number of non-citizens registered to vote in New Jersey is more than 5 times higher than Governor Sherrill's estimate. He says it's 35,152. That is a number that was just released by Homeland Security of non-citizens registered to vote in New Jersey. These are just the ones that got caught. So while we're screaming our heads off about 6,600, it's actually over 35,000.
Oh, it's a lot higher than that. I could tell you right now. It's a hell of a lot higher than that. Well, honestly, with New Jersey, I don't know. New Jersey's always been kind of a bit of funky. But maybe that is right for them. But if you look at other states, I mean, if you look at California, I'm pretty sure there's going to be numbers in there that's going to just make you hit the floor, and then roll away. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So, let's try and wrap this up because I'm so spent. Like while I was reading the article, you told me that if I read the article that I would lose my mind. And several times while I was reading the article, I was this close to flipping. I had to reel myself in because it was so upsetting and honestly emotionally draining. Because
hold on. While you explain, I'm actually going to pull up that document and I'm going to share my screen so everybody can see it.
Yeah.
So go ahead and keep talking.
Yeah. So, are you referring to the same document that you sent me?
No. So you're talking about the senator of Alaska, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm actually going to pull up the Save American Act and actually read the part where this dismisses everything that they're talking about.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, meanwhile, if you're watching for the first time, consider subscribing, like the video, share the video. I keep forgetting to do this because I'm so locked into the content and into the stories that I forget to do that. So please consider liking the video, sharing the video. It sends a signal to YouTube and tells them to essentially push the video more. So hopefully you'd consider doing that and helping us out. Thanks. So we've been talking about election fraud. Okay, we talked about the senator from Alaska claiming that she couldn't vote in support of the Save America Act, and so we covered that earlier. And then the governor of New Jersey steps forward to claim that the records, the 6,600 foreign nationals who were registered to vote in New Jersey were actually registered automatically by the software, and the owners of the software have since come forward to say that that's a lie. That those voters were manually approved by agents of the state. All right, so go ahead.
All right, so everybody that is listening and for those that are going to be watching after the stream, this is the Save America Act document from the Congress.gov website. We've all heard that the Democrats have constantly said that if you're married, you won't be able to vote because your last name doesn't match your birth certificate. You'd never change your last name on your birth certificate. That is insane. That it doesn't make sense. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know where the heck that they're pulling this out of, but that's not how that goes. You have a maiden name which stays on your birth certificate until the day you die, and even after, because you get your death certificate then. But here's the thing that I want to prove to y'all, and this is the talking point. This contradicts the talking points that they talk about. So this section here, right? It says use of additional documentation. A document which fails to meet the requirements of paragraph 3B shall not fail to be treated as eligible photo identification document if the document is presented together with another identification document that indicates the individuals in the United States citizen. Let's see, where was the other one? I know I saw it. Where was it? It actually, give me a second, because it said that given the states the.
Oh, take your time.
Honestly, I can't understand why they make these documents look like that. Or look like this thing.
Well, part of it here now, this is a tinfoil hat moment, is to make it hard for you to read, so you don't go in and read it. That's the
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Here it is. Oh, this is the actual one I wanted to read. Oh, why is my stop it? Process in case of certain discrepancies in documents, right? So this is all going back to the document. Subject to any relevant guidance adopted by the Election Assistant Commission, each state shall establish a process under which an applicant can provide such additional documentation to the appropriate election office of the state as may be necessary to establish that the applicant is a citizen of the United States in the event of discrepancy with respect to the applicant's documentary proof of the United States citizen. There's the proof right there.
Yeah. Meanwhile, since you weren't here when I played the video, I'm gonna play her interview. Just give me a sec. I'm gonna share my screen and switch out.
Yeah, okay. I'll go ahead and stop sharing. So,
all right. So here.
Where do you stand on the Save America Act?
I need to.
I actually watched this, and this is where it blew my mind. And I'm like,
yeah.
What are you talking about?
Where do you stand on the Save America Act? Do you, support getting this legislation passed to protect elections?
Not as it is drafted, no.
Not as it is drafted. We just read it.
Why not?
The implementation in a rural state like Alaska is going to disenfranchise an extraordinary majority. And while I support citizenship voting and voting ID, I want to make sure that it's implementable.
So she says that it will disenfranchise a majority, a significant majority. Meanwhile, her very let's just say her article points out the fact that it's a minority.
Yeah.
So they want to change the rules of voting over one or two people who don't know how to spell their names. Because when you read the article, it's really all about, oh, well, this person had their name spelled differently on multiple documents. That other person was too lazy to go out and get their ID or their birth certificate. Therefore, the 99% of everyone else who does it right has to has to be disenfranchised because of this person's lack of initiative.
And it's not only just the citizens of Alaska. It's also the fact that, again, this is what I was pinpointing out to you yesterday. We was going to talk about. Alaska only has 6 voter registration areas. 6 out of the entire state. Whose fault is that?
The state.
The state, right?
Yeah.
Create more. Or allow the DMV. Again, talking with you yesterday, I actually had to go and renew my license. While I was in there doing the paperwork just for the renewal, I heard them say, "Hey, what do you want to register to vote?" Hey, I'm like, "Why not use the DMV?" I mean, I know there's not a whole lot of place up there in Alaska you can drive, right? But still, the DMV. Can't use the USPS because that's federal. But any government agency that is close knit to it, why not open those up to the possibility? Or create more.
look. When I read the article, earlier, I said basically you guys don't want to do your job, and you're claiming that this act, the Save America Act, is going to disenfranchise a bunch of people who can't vote because of the act because you people refuse to do your job. Like it's just the insanity of it all. It's crazy.
Yeah, a politician is the only person that can literally get paid and do nothing.
And they're counting on our stupidity to allow them keep doing that.
That was another thing that we was talking about yesterday after the stream. Listen to everybody out there. It used to be that the average person could literally run for any type of political office as long as they had the charisma and the support. Nowadays, you've got to have millions of dollars to actually run. So it's no longer for the average person.
Yeah.
We need to do something about that one. I'll tell you right now.
Well, the Democrats like Ro Khanna and Bernie Sanders say that they need to get the billionaire and millionaires out of politics so that
they're
they
billionaires.
Don't donate.
Well, they're millionaires.
Yeah. Get money out of politics. I'm like, you fly a private jet. Why do you fly a private jet? And then he says, well, I have to fly a private jet because I'm not going to stand in line because I'm going somewhere. I'm like,
yeah, exactly. I heard that. And I'm like, aren't y'all supposed to be part of the Green Party?
Look, we are supposed to be the ones not using fossil fuels, but they can. Because they're so
Rules
important.
For thee, not for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it honestly gets really annoying. These Democrats talk so much out of their ass. It's not even funny. I would take a fart more serious than I would them. All right. Bernie Sanders has done absolutely nothing for the American people. I have not seen him put 1 cent towards anything that is meaningful. I mean, honestly, I doubt that many politicians have, which really is sad and disappointing. But they're all trash. I'm going to point it out there. Republican or Democrat, I really don't care. If you're all about the money and all that, I have nothing for you. That's where I was with President Trump. I was like, y'all are getting mad about what is he? He's President Trump's a billionaire, right?
Yeah.
Y'all getting mad about a billionaire running for office, but he can't be bought. He's got all of the money. He's set until he dies, and then his kids are set for quite some time.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you can do. You can't bribe him, and let's see, all for one and more for me. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's that whole thing of your money is my money and my money is my money.
Yep.
And that's exactly what taxes are right now. And we can all see it. We've got Nancy Pelosi with insider trading. You've got Bernie Sanders being paid by the pharmaceutical companies. The story is out there. I mean, even for Marjorie Taylor Greene, right?
Yeah.
Didn't want to do anything about the deportations. Why is that? Because her family owns a construction company and depends on cheap labor. The facts are out there. We're not stupid. We can see it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just so sick and tired of these lying politicians. I mean, all right, even in my state. So here's a story, right? So in Georgia, we've got Brian Kemp. He's a Republican, right? But
Yeah.
he is low down trash. He is a backstabber. For most of y'all that don't know, I was and still I am a whistleblower for the Georgia Department of Corrections. And whenever I went onto the news for Atlanta 11, I kid you not, Brian Kemp's office sent a letter to the news media saying that I was terminated. I resigned. I left like 2 years before the riot. But
Wow.
whenever the riot happened, that was my team. That was my family out there.
Oh, wow.
They deemed it as a what was it? Minor disturbance. They deemed it as,
mostly peaceful disturbance.
Yeah, they deemed it as a minor disturbance, right?
Yeah.
Yet my captain, who then he had been promoted to a unit manager out there, he ended up having to be life flighted out with very severe injuries. Another one of my sergeants, he ended up getting holes put into his back quite a few times on camera. And whenever those people, they come to me, and because I wasn't in the department, right?
Yeah.
They was threatening anybody. If you say anything, you're gonna be fired. You're gonna be attacked, basically, right?
Yep.
I'm not with the department anymore. So they would come to me and tell me, and then I would relay that information over to the news. And then Brian Kemp's office want to send down a letter saying that I was terminated. I quit 2 years before. I actually still pull up my paperwork, and it shows that I have nothing on my record. All right?
Yeah.
Try and lie to me. But yeah, we even got Republicans like that. I ain't got no use for a politician.
Oh, no, look, I'll be honest with you, and that's why I keep saying over and over again, someday I'm going to say something you guys don't like. And one of those things I'm going to say is that all of them are the same. Left and right, they're all the same. You know, are they all as evil as those on the left? Maybe not, but they take advantage of situations for their own benefit, on both sides. It's just that the politicians on the right, they know that they're going to be called out, not just on the news, but also by us. Okay, we hold them accountable. But on the left, they get protected by the news, and they also get protected by their voters. So they get to show the absolute corruption that's in their hearts. So we the voters on the right tend to be the ones holding back our politicians from being crazy, and that's what I believe. That's what I believe. And whenever I see someone on the right go crazy, it doesn't bother me. Like, if tomorrow we catch Trump doing something horrible, I'm going to say, oh, well, I guess, we have to move on to someone else. Because one, I know that people, aren't, like, in our heart, like, it depends on how big the temptation is. Okay, we get to do some really, really bad things. We get to do some really bad things, especially when we have enough money to cover it up. But because of the laws that are on the books that punish us for doing bad things, we tend to hold back. And it's the same for you, it's the same for me. All right. I know if I do something wrong, my wife is right there to call me out and punish me for it. The law is out there to call me out and punish me for it, and I believe in a higher power, God, who will also hold me accountable. So these are the things that keep me in check. But when you have people who aren't kept in check in any way, that's where you have the kinds of things we see on the left. So I'm sorry I went down that tirade, but it's always good that we are aware of who we're working with. And politicians as a whole try very hard to get people to like them, and they hide things to make sure people like them more when they hide all the bad stuff that they do until it's out there.
I can't agree with you more. You like you said, if President Trump come out tomorrow and did something that, or something really heinous, I had already cast my vote for the guy. Yeah, like I was telling you, the one thing that I have is I have a standard. Don't lie to me, right?
Yeah.
If you lie to me, I have nothing. I have no use for you. I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to see you. Just go. I'm cutting you out. If that was the case, I'd cut him out. I mean, the same thing with Brian Kemp down here. I voted for the guy, but as soon as he did that, nah, you're trash. Go home. I have no use for you whenever you're gonna attack somebody for trying to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Again, like yesterday, talking about the chance of bunker buster warhead.
Yep.
I ain't got no problem with that. But say how the Democrats kept saying, "Oh, he's going to use the military on United States citizens." If that actually happened, I would have a problem. But I would fear that coming from the Democrats, like the Democrats actually doing that more than I would the Republicans. And I could tell you right now, as I've got a military family, right? It's already been said that if orders came down, like if we got another Democrat president and whatnot, and they ordered the military to go in the streets, they're gonna go boot up, right?
Yeah.
As soon as they get out there on the streets, they're turning right around and facing off with the government. We like less government. We take care of one another. And now again, you see the videos where we've got some of those idiots that are in the military. Hey, guess what? You're an insurgent then.
Yeah.
You're literally trying to attack the people. Well, the oath that our military men protect the United States from foreign and domestic. Nah. And again, if you actually look at it, when we was talking about with the Summer of Love, right?
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter riots. Every single time, they're not going after the actual rioters. They're going after the right-leaning media that's standing over to the side just filming.
Yeah.
Oh, you're out here to instigate. What am I instigating? A firebomb? That's ridiculous. It really is.
Well, I'm glad that most of us are finding each other, and I'm glad that we get to do this without the permission of the mainstream media. We get to sit and talk about this, and hopefully we get more people listening in and talking and becoming a part of the conversation. So we have to wrap this up. We are almost at the 2-hour mark. Usually I try to keep this at under an hour, but we had to read into the details of Senator Lisa Murkowski's reason for not backing or voting for the Save America Act. And it makes zero sense. I'm glad that I was able to do this. It may have been boring for a bunch of people, but I guarantee you we have to do more of this. We have to read the documents. We have to read their own words and say to ourselves, okay, this is what this person really thinks. And I guess they really are as stupid as we believe they are. so we'll
also beforehand, before you give your alto.
Yeah.
If y'all actually want to see how much the news media has changed, take a look at nostalgia videos from the 1990s to 2000s. I'm a 93 baby, so it's honestly that it's been that long. It's surprising. But if you actually look, you can see the difference between the media then and the media now. I kid you not, majority of nostalgia videos for that, I see CNN. CNN was okay back then. It wasn't great, but it was okay. Nowadays, it's trash. So y'all want to do so compare contrast to do that before and after.
Yeah, I would love for us to sometime just pick up some of those videos, and like what I really like to do is cover the news and say, okay, what were these guys saying about the very same issue 15 years ago? The very same people were saying something completely different. And it's just clear hypocrisy. So I like going back and watching those videos because it shows us that that they are very dishonest and that they are not to be trusted. The sun still rises in the east and sets in the west. It hasn't changed because we got more progressive. It hasn't changed. Okay, men are still men. Women are still women, and men can't become women. Men can't get pregnant. It hasn't changed. Because we've gotten so advanced. So when you watch them and listen to them talk, and it's like these people are snakes. I will never trust CNN ever again. Never trust mainstream media ever again. Okay. Like they literally have to do something outlandish to regain trust. But even at that, I will not trust them fully ever again. You talk about CNN. I used to watch CNN used to be on a loop in my house. Used to be on a loop. I tell people, and I've said it on this show, that if I had grown up in the States with the family that I had, I would have grown up a Democrat. We fed off all of the propaganda and the lies until 2016. I was like, okay, there's something wrong with this picture because I know Donald Trump. As a 10-year-old, as a 9-year-old, I used to play with puzzles. There was this, my mom traveled to Texas in 86 and then came back with a puzzle, 1,000-piece puzzle. This was a puzzle of a store. It was the front of a store, a grocery store, and it had the sign Trump store. And Donald Trump was standing right in front of the store. And I put that piece together maybe 2 times. So I knew that in the 80s, this guy was loved by everyone. In the 90s, the rappers loved him. Okay, showed up on shows. He was the guy, and then suddenly you want to tell me that suddenly he's a racist. Suddenly, you guys didn't know. For 40 years, he was in the he was possibly the most recorded private citizen in history.
And not only that, he actually had a tenant in one of his buildings in New York, I believe. She was a black lady who lost her job.
Tenant, and let her stay. I'm like, these people think we're morons.
I mean, Whoopi Goldberg praised him, even gave him a hug.
Joy Behar said, I'm welcoming my friend, Donald Trump. Gave him a hug, and they were all like fawning over him. Oh my God. Oh. And then now he's the Antichrist.
Hang on. I think that actually goes back to how women act to a guy with a lot of money.
Maybe. But I think you're right. I think you're right. You know, so it's like it's the wake up call that I needed, but a lot of people got the same wake up call, but they refuse to listen. They refuse to listen. They don't pay attention to history or anything. They just refuse to listen. All right, we're way past the 2-hour mark, and look, I love doing this. I love live streaming and talking with you guys, and honestly, covering these stories. I love doing this because one of the reasons is if YouTube doesn't act the fool and do what they did during the Biden years, the video is going to be around for another 20 to 50 years. And
hey, Tony's in the chat.
Hey, Tony. Well, he was in the chat. He came in earlier and then dipped out. You know,
we're about to actually close it up, Tony.
Yeah, we're about to close it up. You missed the party. You know, so one of the things is I want us to be able to like talk about these things and save it online for the future, so people can watch and listen and learn and hear what we have to say. You know, hear what we have to say about these things, and then go back and ask the question: were they right? They talked about this in 2026. Hey, it's 2036. Were they right? And then time, look, time will tell. And I believe that time is our friend. Okay, all of these things that we've been talking about, we know that eventually people are going to look back and say, okay, these guys were right. All right, I hate them, I hate their guts, but they were right. You know, so let's shut it down for now. If something blows up again in Eastern Europe or in the Middle East tonight, and we have time, and I can, and I don't have any obligations with family and stuff, then maybe, you know, we can jump on a live to talk about it. But if nothing happens, then till tomorrow, same time tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. Thank you guys for hanging out. Tony, good to see that you're painting again. Awesome. Would love to see the work you're doing when you're done. All right, guys. Hickox, awesome as always. Thanks for jumping on. Everyone else, and look, send our love to your lovely wife for getting for letting you do this. Tony is letting us know that his rent is too high. A homeless man crapped on his porch and there's no free. That's what you get for living in a liberal city.
Oh, listen, I have to throw this in there real quick. I don't know how people in the city have to live with that. You know what the most I have to deal with? I've got a cardinal that has taken residency in my shed and built a nest. I've had like 5 generations of cardinals come out of my shed. All right. I don't know how people can deal with that.
Wow. The most I've had to deal with happened recently. I saw a mama skunk and her 2 cubs walking across my backyard under my woodshed, and I was like, no, you're not doing that. And then they walked back, and I was like, oh, thank God. You're not making home under my woodshed. You know, yeah. I don't know how people deal with all of the insanity of the city, you know, but then again, it is what it is. I grew up in a city for years. I grew up in the city, and when I moved here, I said to my wife, I'm never leaving. It's quiet. I can hear myself think. you know. So yeah, so we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. Look, Hickox, you told me that we will do this next month. I guess we've already started. So whenever I'm live, jump in, and you, Tony, and gardening, you guys are on the Discord, so we can essentially talk and figure things out. Everyone else who's watching, you can join the Discord. The link is active right now in the description of this live stream. You can be a part of our conversations on the Discord. We have a voice channel where you can we haven't activated it yet, so we can all talk about what we can do with the server to kind of make it more fun. Just open up a channel where people can just talk about stuff and cover anything you want to talk about. We're still working on the Discord. There's a lot more that we can do, but I'd love to have you guys jump in and help out to make it what it should be. All right, guys, I have to say bye to everyone. We will be back tomorrow, same time, 10 a.m. Eastern. And hopefully we'll have some good news and something to laugh about. But knowing what the Democrats and the rhinos have been up to, we're going to have a lot more to complain about. But we will figure out a way to make it fun while we're at it. All right, guys. So thanks for hanging out. Hickox, you want to say bye?
Thanks everybody for coming in. Again, hit up the Discord. I'm in it as well. If y'all want to have a chat, let me know. We hit up the voice channel and discuss different things around the world, or if you just need somebody to talk to, I'm here for you. We're all here to look out for one another, whether you're on the left or the right. If you need somebody to talk to, if you need somebody to vent to, just hit me up.
All right, amazing. That's a good one. All right, guys, thanks, and bye-bye.